Hi, everybody. We're back again with another episode of Kahin Kissi Roast. And we're going to roast Hindi series for you again this week. Antara and I. Antara, what should we talk about this week?
Today we're going to talk about the great disappearing and reappearing act pulled by the magicians on ITV, our very
Yeah.
own bahus and betas who just pretend to die or fake their death or run away without a trace and then come back sometime later in a new avatar and to refresh
Gosh,
everything.
sometimes they're the same person who pretended to die, but they live really nearby in the same city or wherever. And, for some reason, with all the advances of the technology is done, you can't find them. That's weird. Okay, so that's one. In other stories, they've changed the way they look. But in stories, they haven't even changed the way they look. Like, for example, Meet, she hadn't even changed the way she looked. And they spent an
She's
entire
got long
month.
hair. What are you talking about? Because how is she's so different? Because she's now a girly girl. Audience are stupid and family members are stupid because now she's a
Very,
girly girl.
very, very. She can cook, which she didn't do before, but and she could help herself, which she can do now. So, different people. So, so they, so these stories are crazy. There's this guy in Kundali Bhagya who died. He died in an alligator accident. The alligators ate him up. Then he got a new face, but all of a sudden he's taller, his voice is different. Guys, do you know that even if people change their faces, their voices, the voice signature doesn't change, right? So how is it that his entire family is not able to figure out who he is? Mannerisms, behavior, voice, how does that even occur? In who writes this stuff, and how do you get done with these plots? How do you think people will lap it up? If they are illogically so, but people are lapping stuff like that up.
The best part is after being saved, from dying or death, they don't immediately go back again because police is very useless in the ITV world, and police do not exist to solve any problems. You have to find your own evidence and take your own revenge and hand out your own punishment. So they never come back directly to the family that, hey, this person tried to kill me. Come and say that's stupid. But no, what I'll do is instead I'll wait 5 years. I'll become a master businessman or because they never come back poor. Like, mind you, they'll never come back poor. They'll be ultra rich in that 5 year gap. They will have achieved everything, and now they're coming to take revenge from, like, dude, just tell your family, how hard is it, when you survive, the first thing you remember, just go to your family and tell them, like, hey, this person tried to kill me, let the family sort it out. Go to the police, let them sort it out. But no, I will do it now. I'll do like fake kidnapping. I'll outbid him, and those stupid cliche Bollywood movie scenes. And again, like, those were laughable back then, and they are even more laughable now. That first of all, you're trying that stupid plastic surgery. The height is like, he's taller now because he got a bone graft as well. Like, might as well. Why not makes myself
Okay.
taller than
Guys who
the.
want to be taller, there's this sort of experiment going on in Kundali Bhagya. You can become taller by just
All you
changing.
need is like get eaten by alligator, and then the next transformation, you'll be taller and you'll be slimmer. Like, everything will change about you. You'll now be a cool
Oh,
person.
I have to talk about everybody's favorite serial, Gume Kisi Ke Pyar Mein. Oh my God, what is going on in that show? It's like the entire unit of Gume Kisi Ke Pyar Mein took all the makeup in the world that they could find and they pasted in top of Paki's face. You look at her face, you're like, dude, what mountain of makeup did this woman work out of? That's one. And Sai is deemed dead, and her husband is an IPS officer who hasn't even figured out that she's actually alive. She was treated in a hospital. So even the hospital didn't have a record, or what? What kind of a IPS officer is this guy who couldn't trace his wife? And they all presume her dead. And he's married to Paki now. He's married another woman, and he's
I
happily
don't think
living with her.
they are married. I think they just like, I don't know. They are faking the marriage in like like, they're not legally married. She just pretends for the sake of the son that, oh,
But
husband and wife.
which tone deaf family he- tells a child that his mother is somebody else and not his real mother? Which tone deaf family takes away the memories of the real mother from a child? Which tone deaf
Go
family
ahead.
deserves to be called a family who
This
does that?
don't have family who brought this evil woman back in the house and let the daughter-in-law leave with the child just because she was objecting to having this criminal back in the house. She said, like, I don't want this criminal near my baby. And they're like, no, she's family. So she's not daughter-in-law and the baby is not families. They let her go. Like, okay, go. We'll not let the criminal go. So what?
Well,
Like daughter-in-law died. Virat has always been an incompetent officer. Like, he could not trace his wife's attackers for 9 months. Like that's right up his
oh
MO.
no
Like,
no no no!
no.
He's doing this encounter, and his son calls him on a video call. In the middle of the encounter, he's doing "Pyang Goli" and "Beta Pyang Goli Beta." I mean, who writes these plots? Okay, then there is this other one, Spy Bahu. Oh my God, who is writing this show? She's a spy. She ousts herself. Which spy ousts herself? It's country before everything else. You take an oath. You have a contract with the government. You can't tell people I'm a spy. You don't go out and tell people I'm a spy. And then when they finally do what they should be doing, they completely disown her. She actually busted the entire intelligence agency. So she goes and she gets into an accident. It's not really an accident. They try to murder her, and now she's back, but she doesn't have the memories of her life before, and she's pregnant with a guy's child. So the guy finds her and gets her back home, and he actually tell she actually doesn't remember anything, and it's so weird. That entire thing is weird. She doesn't remember anything, but she picks up accents wherever she goes. And the best part is that instead of taking her to a doctor, instead of taking her to her parents who can really ratify that she's their daughter and she's fine, and they can even ratify her backstory, instead of doing that, they don't even bring the parents into the story. I mean, something that can be sorted out for the guy. I mean, it is such a weirdly written plot. Whoever wrote it, I mean, who writes plots like that?
Have you seen that clip? It got really famous. I shared it with you guys. Like, the Ram Kapoor sees his supposedly dead wife in a car, and then there are like camera angles going crazy, like the wife is sitting in the car and he just sees her from afar.
Is this the
And
new
like,
Ram Kapoor, or is this the old Ram
no,
Kapoor?
no, 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 this is not this Ram. This was from Kasam Se, but like this was the 2000s video camera angle thing, like like all the angles, like the husband sees his wife who was supposed to be dead afar, and then like black and white color, technicolor, like camera from top, camera from bottom, camera from side, and then like, and the background effect, like that's what, like whenever someone says like, oh, so and so person is back from dead, that's what happens in my brain. It goes like, oh, the sound effect is like, oh, they're back, like, so it's either
It
like
is
they come back with a
amazing.
memory loss.
Yeah, it's amazing how these plots are written, not keeping in mind how the world has moved away from these plots, not only from these plots, but the logical aspect of these plots. Again, Ye Rishta. it's nice to have a logical plot. You can't just you can't just sell everything that you got wrapping it up in Harsha Chopra's body, right? Literally, because this is what you're doing. You're literally taking a very logical plot, which just doesn't make sense. I mean, what's going to happen when this woman wins the competition? What's going to happen to her voice? How's she gonna be her voice? Right? I
So
mean, like
is
Maya.
she like, are they planning to make her like, is the brother and sister so short-sighted that they think that she's going to be this one-hit wonder and then she'll go and to be like, oh, I've stopped singing. Like, we were just like
And
joking between
who
like
makes
what.
deals like your voice will be only heard in Mauritius? I mean, in this world of internet, you could be sitting in a small town in Africa and we'll hear your voice. We will, if it's good. How? How do people? Who's smoking what to write this plot? And then you jazz it all up with, Harshit Chopra and his lonely camps and his bike, his good looks, and his abs. Literally. That's how you're wrapping this up. But so I just don't get how these comeback plots, comeback from dead plots are written. That's one. Secondly, and the tropes of these comeback from dead plots. There's nothing new being written. Have you ever had the experience of seeing something come back from dead that's different?
That's exactly the point. First of all, like, in accidents like this where they don't find a body and such, like they generally show that families, they struggle a lot to get some trace of the, like, the child or the body, like that's not found. They just don't assume like body not found, person dead. Like, I know personally of people like whose like relatives go missing and they keep on posting these missing ads every day on Facebook and like all social media channels. Like, I don't know how fruitful they are, but they do not give up. Like, they keep on trying and trying and trying. So that's the realistic response. If you don't find a body, you do that. Okay, maybe let's say, like, let's say it's been 3-4 years, you have no trace. Like, you probably grow to like accept that, okay, this has happened. And whatever, like memory loss, like how frequently that happens only in ITV, like, oh, I forgot I was living with fishermen because I lost my memory. Now my memory is back. It's like, like it's so done to death plot right now. Like, anytime somebody reappears, you already know, like, oh, definitely his memory is lost now. Or secondly, he's back for revenge and now he's like super rich and now he wants to destroy the family. Either way, like, they do not work because it's not that easy to disappear, like fake an accident and disappear. We see all these Netflix series, like the one with Madhuri Dixit on it. I forgot.
Yes, where she's an actress and she disappears.
Yeah.
She pretends that she's been kidnapped. Yeah.
Yeah. Things like we've seen Gone Girl, like, police do not, like, there are ways for police to trace your activities. Like, you don't just disappear out of,
It
you
could be,
leave a, you
and,
leave
and,
a trail.
and you're talking about a country that is digitized 100%, right? Everybody has an Aadhaar card. They can't even open a bank account without their identity being linked to that number. So how are you writing these plots? How are you even writing these plots?
Like, it's literally like so difficult to disappear. And then, like, I can understand if you go to a different city and like what Sai is doing, like, of course her husband is Nalla number one, he can't find anyone. And like it can be right under his nose, he can't find it, so whatever.
But she
But
hasn't
like
even
this,
changed her name. She's practicing as her
yeah,
real
she
name.
changed nothing. She's literally living her life away from him. And that's her whole point of contention, that this man is not even trying to find me. Like, this man, your man is so stupid that he can't like find like the pin under his nose. So like, why do you expect him to find like you after 5 years? He stopped looking like the second they said like, oh, we can't find her. Like, okay, dead, bye bye. So no, that is there. But the thing is, like, families, they rarely stop looking, and going and settling in a different city or a different, I don't know how you leave a different country, but like, police has, like, if you leave with a passport, like whatever you do, like there's always a digital trace that follows you, you know. Someone would have seen
Absolutely.
you somewhere, like something happens.
Absolutely. It's not, once you've been on the internet, it's so difficult to rub it out. It's not very difficult for digital forensics to find you. It's not. So why are they creating these stories out of whack? These are out of whack.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, okay, forget, like, okay, maybe a lot of people, like, you know, they run away from home, go into hiding, probably hiding from abusive partners or whatever. But they probably go to a whole other state, and how do they change their names? And like, where do they get these fake identity card life story made? Like, you know, where do you get these fake IDs that allow you to, I mean, it's a scam of so many levels. When they are caught,
It's
they should
like
be tried.
like
They should
fake.
be tried on so many different charges, like you forged documents, you forged
Like
official
literally,
documents.
it's no longer, it's criminal. But not only that, there's another angle to it: fake DNA reports. How, and this is the newest thing. Every serial has a fake DNA report happening. Literally, they're faking every damn thing. It's like the doctors don't have a process or a morality. You just can't. There are things you can't do. There's an anonymized data. You can't just fake stuff like that. But yes,
As soon as I think, like, ITV plots, you know, it's probably written by ekdam hi shakky uncles and aunties, you know, who, like, anytime you introduce a new technology, they find a corruption based loophole around it. तो पहले DNA टेस्ट नहीं होता था, पहले it would be blood test और pregnancy test और ये सब. तो पहले उन सब में घपला करती थी. फिर DNA टेस्ट वाला थिंग became popular, तो फिर तब DNA टेस्ट में भी घपला करेंगे, क्योंकि ethics नाम का तो कोई, for them ethics doesn't exist. You know, everybody is पैसा देके सबको खरीदा जा सकता है. सबके पास एक सूटकेस में कैश होता है देने के लिए, ऐसे ही.
I mean, ये कहाँ से, मतलब cash? I mean, I thought पूरी की पूरी economy उन्होंने demonetize कर रखी. You can't shove around cash like that. You got to
That's the whole
train.
thing. Like, you know, it's so difficult to just survive on cash. Like, you know, you have Paytm, like you have digital wallets to do your job for you. Everything is linked. ठीक है, we
And
are maybe
trace.
not be there 100%, but the cities you show all this is not happening in the village, okay? You show these scraps happening in big cities like Delhi, Bombay. People I know, they do this black marketing and all that, but the whole thing is ki, how is your hero heroine all clean when they are also indulging in like these corrupt practices? They are making like false IDs and hiding away and all that.
Exactly. Now, having
And
said
somehow they managed to go to Australia, like, you know, after somebody saves them and they're like, oh, आज से ही में बहुत ही प्यारे लोग मिल जाते हैं, लोगों को बचाने के लिए.
कहाँ है ये लोग? मुझे भी अडॉप्ट कर लो, मैं बेटी बनने
मुझे
के
कोई
लिए
क्यों नहीं
तैयार
ऐसे
हूँ.
मिलती है. ये कुमकुम भाग्य का लास्ट क्लिप जो था, which was प्रज्ञा, रवि प्रज्ञा, 2 साल के लिए this couple, like, you know, she's like, oh, she met an accident, probably dead करके bye bye. She's saved by this old rich woman who has an empire in Australia, and she takes a pity on this lady, and she's like, okay, now from now you're my sister, you're now my daughter, और उसको लेके ऑस्ट्रेलिया चली जाती है. उसको 2 साल में
उसका
वो बिजनेस
पेपर
वुमन
वर्क, उसका नाम, ये कहाँ से, मतलब how does all this happen? I mean, अच्छा है तुम एक fantastical stories लिखते हो, but remember one thing: people think things like this can happen for real, right? And that is the biggest downfall of writing really illogical plots, because a lot of people get the impression that they can do it too.
Yeah, and you know, they might think like their youth is really impressionable, like in India. Like, we found out like how delusional they are in the comment sections of these illogical shows. Like, you know, we have seen so many of them. So yeah, people really do believe like all they need to do is, you know, just fake something and then go into hiding, and then like it's not that easy to survive, bro. Like, you know, you will not You'll not be able to live on your own with a new identity, and nobody will be able to trace you. And when you go back, what you'll get is like pitai from your mummy papa. First thing they'll do is
Yes.
like you'll receive
Don't
flying
don't
chappals.
try these plots. You are not going to be able to survive them. This only happens in fantastical stories where writers are smoking something really good to be writing this. Okay,
And
not
no,
you.
there's no good Samaritan who takes you to Australia and makes you the heir to their property. You're probably going into human trafficking.
Exactly. Well, with that, we come to the end of today's episode of Kahin Kissi Roast. Tell us what you want us to roast, and we'll be happy to cover that roast for you. And this is all for this week. This is Antara and me saying bye.
Bye.